A few days ago, I talked about getting laid off after 9 years of dedicated service. This is what I've actually done in the first 72 hours and what I haven't done. So, in case you missed my last video, which I'll link in the description below, I talked a little bit about getting laid off from a steady job that I was at for about 9 years. How cold and kind of just unapologetic they were about it. You know, I get it, it's just business. So over the phone, not even a handshake or even a thank you. So anyway, I will again, I'll link that in the description below. If you haven't seen that, go take a look. So I guess one of the very first things that I did, which should be probably pretty obvious to most people, is that I filed for unemployment. I do have that benefit in my state, and I have savings. But, you know, every little thing helps. And so I definitely did that. It's not a long-term solution, but it definitely kind of eases the pain a little bit. And to help with that, the next thing I did was I continued to cut down my expenses. I'm a frugal person anyway, but there's always room for improvement, right? So, you know, I'd go out for the occasional coffee run or things like that, and I cut all that out. As you may have seen in some of my other videos, I like to kind of be self-sufficient, and I make my own cold brew at home, and I come up with ways to save money all the time. So that's coming in handy now for sure. The other thing I did in the first 72 hours was I kind of started making plans immediately with my friends and family and people that I've been neglecting over the last decade or so. And the reason for that is twofold. One, obviously I owe some people some apologies for how distant I've been and how my priorities have been so skewed over the years. But the other one is for my own mental health. You know, in times of need and stress, we turn to our loved ones and friends for help and guidance. So that was definitely one of the things that I did straight out of the gate. Other than work, you know, I kept with my routine. So I still get up early, I still eat right, I still go to the gym. And that's just something that I figured it was kind of my anchor to my health and my mental health, and just overall good decision making. So, you know, obviously I have to keep up with that. And anyone who knows me knows that I'm an incredible creature of habit. So I have to have my routine or else I kind of get lost. And that's one of the biggest things that I was worried about after getting laid off, was just kind of losing my way. So the routine definitely helps. Now, I try to spend at least part of the day brainstorming, coming up with new ideas for maybe how to pivot, things that I'm good at, some of my hobbies, things that I might be able to use to earn a living or at least supplement my income for now. And I'm kind of using my knowledge of the trade and background and stuff like that as kind of a backup at this point. In the economy around here, at least anyway, and probably a lot of the other parts of the United States, it's going to be a while before I can get back to work if I choose to go back to work for an employer. So I'm spending part of my day thinking about that, but at the same time, I don't want to get overwhelmed. I don't want to dwell on it. I do need to take a break, take a little bit of a rest and decompress a little bit. So usually, you know, on my walks in the evening, or I've been doing a lot of hiking around local parks and recreational areas, just because it's good for the mind and the soul, and it's free. So I've been doing a lot of that, and it gives me time to kind of think about that. But I try to stay out of my head too much. The biggest thing is I've historically been kind of a negative person, and I'm really trying to turn that around. And so I'm using this and trying to put a positive spin on however, you know, whatever I can. So now for the things that I have not done, I did not rush out and start putting in applications for any old job that I thought might just barely pay the bills, because I'm covered for a little bit, and I knew that if I did that, it would distract me from the big picture, and I would also probably hate it. So I'd be kind of right back to where I was, except, you know, equal burnout and less money. So what's the point, right? I didn't make any life-changing decisions. I'm not going to sell my house. I don't have any plans on moving right away, although my ultimate dream is to get on some land and maybe go off-grid or somewhat off-grid, kind of live life a little bit slower and more intentionally. So, but I'm not doing that yet. I'm going to focus on the moves that I need to make that a viable option before I go off half-cocked, so to speak. I didn't tell myself that this defines me. I find a lot of times when we introduce ourselves to people, we are so-and-so, the so-and-so. And, you know, what you do for a living always comes up in conversation. And I think we let that really define who we are as people and our self-worth. So I did not do that, because I just think that that leads down to kind of a bad road. I am clearly not sitting at home. I didn't want to get into the habit of just scrolling myself into a panic, you know, seeing all the troubles of the world all at once, all on one little screen, can just kind of add a lot of stress to an already stressful situation. And I also did not and will not use any substances as a crutch or as a way to numb myself. As many of you probably know, I'm sober and have no plans to return to the lifestyle that I had. And so I'm finding other healthier ways to deal with my issues. And again, with the routine, that's the most important part to me, is I haven't let it go. Getting up early, eating healthy, and exercising are paramount to me. And I think moving forward, everything else has to come second to that, because you have to kind of take care of yourself before you can take care of the things around you and some of those issues. You have to get right with yourself first. So in the not so distant past, this would have destroyed me, to be honest. I've been historically kind of a depressed person. Ask anyone who knows me, I've always been kind of glass half empty, and I am really trying to not go down that rabbit hole. And I think even though that it's a forced pause in my life, it doesn't have to be a setback. And I think, like many of you have commented on my last video, that it's the perfect time to figure out what I really enjoy doing. And I'm just trying to kind of hone in on that the last 72 hours, almost a week that it's been since I got laid off. And the other thing that I've been trying to keep in mind is that a lot of people don't ever get lucky enough to have a pause. They have financial obligations that are more than I have, debt, families, kids, things like that require a lot of money, and there's no time to stop. So they get started and it's just go forever. And so if they don't ever get a chance to take this pause, then it's never going to happen. So they're going to continue down the same path. I've actually been really surprised at myself. I walk around, you know, my head's held high, my shoulders are back, which I didn't think was going to be the case at all, being technically, you know, unemployed. I've been treating people better, been nicer to people, smiling more. My bitterness has all but disappeared, you know? It's just, I kind of feel like I'm a brand new person, to be perfectly honest with you. I've just really enjoyed reconnecting with people on a basic human level without that overshadowing of a career or status. My last video actually really helped me because of the community that I noticed and that we're starting to build. I had no idea that it was going to resonate with so many people. And I cannot believe how many people came out of the woodwork with positive comments and reassurance and support. And, you know, sometimes there's a lot of negativity on the internet. And this has been the complete opposite. I'm over the moon And it's actually started to really reinvigorate my faith in humanity again, you know, which I feel like a lot of people are losing right now. And so again, I just wanted to thank you for that, genuinely. So I will say that I did get a message a couple of days ago from my old employer, and they were asking if, you know, maybe if they could drum up a little bit of work, if that I would maybe consider coming back, albeit for like a brief moment. And I kind of already know which way I'm leaning on that one, but what would you tell them? Maybe let me know. So I don't really know exactly what's next for me on the horizon, which is actually kind of exciting to me, but I do know that I'd like to keep documenting it and see where it goes from there. I do have to give a huge shout out to my little brother, my only brother. He has a YouTube channel. He lives in Mexico. He does a lot of travel stuff down there. He's lived down there full time for quite a while now. His channel's called The Rope Monster. I will link it in the description below. But, you know, I've kicked around the idea of making content for the last few years, and I was always too busy and I couldn't get the creative juices flowing. And so he was the one that really pushed me to go for it and kind of showed me the ropes and gave me the motivation to do it. So a big shout out to him. Another thing I've always been too busy to do is go visit him. So I think I'm gonna try to work out a way to do that here in the near future. Yeah, so what are some of the things that you all would do in my situation? And I know I've heard a lot in the comments already from the previous video, but what would you do? You know, pivot rapidly, try to go back to the same old stuff. Maybe let me know. But again, I really appreciate all the community and all the outreach that I've received from you all on YouTube. It came as a big surprise to me, and I am very, very grateful. So yeah, anyway, thank you again for watching, and I hope I see you on the next one.